Hi, and welcome back to the HNBC podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Chris Hutchins. Chris, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm excited to be here.
So let me introduce Chris to all of you. Chris is from All Hacks, the All Hacks podcast, and he also has a newsletter that he sends out every single week. Has a ton of information on different deals that went on throughout the week. And he also has there a lot of news in the credit card space. I personally read it every single week, and I recommend you all to go and sign up to his newsletter. So, Chris, what I want to discuss with you today is award booking tools. Just going back a few years ago, award booking tools did not exist at all. Nowadays, not only we have one award booking tool, we have several, and they're all competing with each other, and they all have their own bells and whistles. And knowing how to utilize them is the new way of knowing how to maximize your rewards. So Chris, can you walk us through a little bit award booking tools and teach our users how to maximize them properly? So before we get started, let's just explain for a second what means award booking tools, what they are. So similar to Google Flights or Expedia that searches for cash flights, the award booking tools will do the same thing, just they would be searching for award flights. So they would be searching availability, how many points you need, and let you sort out what's available now to book and where you can get the best deal. So similar to Google Flights, you put in where you want to go, how many tickets you're looking to purchase, which class you're looking to be in, business class, economy, the dates, and they will do the search for you. They will be looking at all different airline programs and coming back with the results, what's available, and what for how many points you have to pay to get the ticket. So I guess let's start with this question. From all the different award booking tools, which one is your personal favorite?
I think my default search lately has been a tool called Award Tool. And the primary reason I like Award Tool is that they give you, I think, up to 32, I'll call them like variables. So those variables could be multiple dates, they could be multiple classes, they could be multiple, departure and arrival airports. And so you can kind of do a pretty quick, but also real time search and say, I want to go from San Francisco or Los Angeles to Paris or London. And you could say, and I'm willing to do it across these 5 days in business or first. Some of the other tools out there that I know a lot of people use just don't have that much flexibility. If I really want to nerd out, I might use a tool called Seats.arrow, which is like the database spreadsheet version. It's like a little more complicated to understand, but the results can be really fast because they cache the data every day. So they'll go fetch all these results, but they won't always be updated in real time. So I would say there's kind of two broad types of searches you're looking for. It's like, do you want to go from a specific place to another place, kind of roughly on some dates? Award Tool is fantastic for that. Do you just want to take a trip that will give you the most value? Are you like, put me on a first class ticket from the West Coast wherever I can go in April? And then Seats.arrow is a little better at that because they've cached so much data that you could just do a much broader search, right? It's almost seemingly unlimited number of variables because they're not having to go do lots of real-time searches with airlines. They've already cached all the data. So those are probably my tool set, with the exception of there's a tool called Point.me, and you get access to it for free if you have Amex or Bilt. And for Bilt, you don't even have to have the Bilt card. You could just have a Bilt account. And the access you get is limited only to the airlines that each of those programs partner with. But it's great because it's free. It doesn't have as much flexibility. But the thing that's great about it is if you're just getting started, Point.me will walk you through the process. Right? If you've been doing this for years, you know how to go to Amex, transfer your points to an airline, book a partner flight, make sure the availability is really there, because some of these tools will show you a flight and it might not actually be there. So you want to go check the availability before you transfer the points. And Point.me is the best at walking you step by step through that process. So I would say if this is your first time and you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing, that tool is fantastic, but it's just not as flexible with the searches. You can't say here's 5 airports and 20 dates like you can with the others. And Seats.arrow goes even further, where you could just say major US airports to major European airports. But I would just say the interface is one that when I have friends that are like, I want to get started, I want something easy, I would never send them that link. And for some
It's not
reason,
exactly Google
even
Flights.
yes, and for whatever reason, I know Points, yeah, YEAH, and Award Tool are very similar. I don't want to disparage Points, yeah, as a bad tool. I just started using Award Tool, and it became great, and I just started defaulting to it. But I've heard great things about Points, yeah, and so if one of them feels better to you, I don't think they're fundamentally that different. But for whatever reason, when I do a search, Award Tool is the one I usually pull up first.
Thinking about hotels, hotel award bookings, what would be your best one there?
So a lot of these tools have all launched their own kind of hotel version. So if you're on Points, yeah. If you're on Award Tool, if you're on Seats.arrow, they have Rooms.arrow. And I would say there's two kinds of hotel searches that I think are common. And the biggest difference here is that when you have a lot of points on Chase or Amex or Bilt or Capital One, with the exception of maybe Hyatt and a few edge cases with Citi, I I find that hotel points are just not the place you want to transfer your credit card points. And so many people aren't in a situation where they're going to have tons of points on Hilton and Marriott and Hyatt and Choice and IHG. If you are, I like this award search tool called Aways. And I will clarify that I haven't played a lot with this new tool called Gondola, which I think could be interesting, but I just don't have the experience. The thing I like is that they just do a search across all the different chains at once. So I can get a sense of I'm going to, pick any city. I'm going to Austin, Texas. What are all the hotels that are in programs that I can book with points? Like, show me all of them. But most people aren't in that scenario. Most people are like, I only have Hilton points or Hyatt points, or I have transferable points that I would never want to put to Hilton or Hyatt, or sorry, not Hyatt, Hilton or Marriott or IHG. So I effectively just have Hyatt points. If I know the chain and I know the hotel, Rooms.arrow is pretty good, and this other tool, Max My Point, is pretty good. So I'd say Rooms.arrow is probably the one I use most if I'm like, I'm just trying to stay at a Hilton. Like last month, or actually not last month, it was like 2 weeks ago, my wife and I were like, we have 6 Hilton free night certificates. So we don't care like what the best hotel in the world is. We want to know where can we stay at a Conrad, a Waldorf Astoria, or an SLH hotel in July using Hilton free nights. And Rooms.arrow was perfect for that scenario. Whereas a lot of the other tools don't have that kind of a search functionality. And then I'd say if you are
Why not go to
specific to
Hilton's? Why not go to Hilton's website directly?
because we didn't know where we wanted to go. Like if you go to Hilton and you say like, show me all the, like Hilton would let you do that search if I knew I wanted to go to Paris. But we could go to Costa Rica, we could go to Japan, we could go to Europe.
Makes sense.
But we only wanted a hotel where we could use those certificates, which Hilton's site wouldn't necessarily filter on. And we were really flexible. So we ended up going to the new Waldorf Astoria in Costa Rica, had a great time. But that was not, we weren't planning on going there. Like that was where we could get 6 nights at a great value at a high end Hilton. If you're very specific, like you're hotel specific, there's a website called Max My Point. So if you're like, there's a hotel in the Bay Area called the Alila Ventana in Big Sur. And there are a lot of people that are like, that's where I want to go. It's beautiful property. If you know exactly the hotel, a tool like Max My Point can be like, let's set alerts for when the inventory changes on this one specific hotel over these dates. And so I think it really comes down to what search you're doing. Are you searching for a city? Are you searching for a brand? Or are you searching for a hotel? And for a city, I like Aways. For a brand, I like Rooms.arrow. And for a hotel, I like Max My Point.
So, Chris, you've been in the industry a long time, way before these tools existed. So now that we do have these tools, how do you see it, the good and the bad?
So I think from an accessibility standpoint, these old tools were literally like using kind of, travel agent terminals. So just the accessibility of the user interface is one. The old tools didn't actually know the routing, the airline partners, anything like that. So this tool that I always thought was the best tool was called KVS tool. And I think I signed up for it in 2011. And it was this Windows app. but you could only search like one airline at a time. And so you'd be like, I want to search Japan Airlines from San Francisco to here, and it would come back with the result. And then you didn't find it. You could search the next one and the next one. And so I think the tool might still exist today, but I wouldn't recommend it to almost anyone. But you had to know that American Airlines had access to Japan Airlines inventory, and how many days out it had that access, and how many points it was going to take, and all this stuff. Like, all it could tell you is that Japan has 2 award seats. And so, and then like Expert Flyer had like a third of the airlines, but not all of them. So you were having to use like multiple tools and do a ton of work on your own, and like call the airlines to confirm the availability. And it was not great. The benefit though was that no one else could do it, right? Like, you would be finding availability much more easily because it wasn't as easily accessible for other people. And so the great thing now is, for me, one, I don't have to do my friends' searches. Like back then, I'd be like, oh, you should use your points. And they're like, how? And I'll be like, let me just do it for you. I'm not going to like teach you to install this like old school app and create accounts on all the programs. I'll just do it all for you. Now I can say, go download one of these tools, or you don't even have to download it. Go to this website, make it easy.
The family's travel agent.
Yeah, no longer a travel agent, but I'm competing with so many people now. Like there's so many people that have access to these tools, and that's where the alerts come in, because I think like the ability to react quickly because you understand the system is your benefit here, as someone who is kind of on your path to being an expert in this industry. Yes, there's thousands of people with these access to these tools. Most of them haven't yet figured out all the positioning flights, right? Like they may only search from their home airport to a destination. They probably aren't setting up alerts. And if they are, they probably don't know how to log into Amex, transfer their points, and book the flight in like 2 minutes. And so I had a friend in our membership. So we have this membership for all the hacks. And this woman messaged me. She's like, I'm really struggling to get to Japan next year, and I'm trying to find flights. And I asked her, I said, what dates? And she was like, I'm going on these dates. And I can't even explain the coincidence, but she was trying to fly on the exact dates we're trying to fly from San Francisco. Wow. So like, and I basically wrote back to her and I said, I'll be honest, like I have alerts set up for every one of the flights on those dates. And when I get that alert, I will be booking the flight within like 30 seconds. Like I have the points ready. I have everything ready. So unless like 8 seats open up, it's going to be tough because you're competing with me. And I told her, I said, you might want to consider going a day before or a day after, because like we're not flexible on our dates, but like on those specific dates, I am your competition.
Serious.
And my skill is that I am ready to go at any moment. I can do it from my phone. I don't need to think. I know exactly what I want. And so that is going to be, anyone listening, that is going to be your superpower, is that you understand how it all works and you're ready to go when that alert comes.
Right. It's like this. But people say that the only ones losing their job due to AI would be the ones that don't know how to use AI.
Exactly. Like if you know how to use these tools, you should be feeling good.
Right. Is there anything that you cannot do now that you were able to do 10 years ago? And maybe it's because of these tools?
I mean, only find more availability. Like 10 years ago, I could find a lot more availability. Now that's gotten tough. But other than that, not really. The tools, I don't think there's really any, the only downside to the tools is there's just more people competing for the space. But other than that, no, like 10 years ago, everything was worse.
You should probably have a ton of points on a ton of different programs. How do you keep track of, like, they all have expiration dates, or almost all of them have expiration dates? How do you keep track which ones expire and when they expire?
Yeah, I just looked before this, and I have points in 34 different programs. Oh, wow. And that's like with balances greater than 0. And then I have me, my wife, and 2 children. So we don't have 4 accounts in all of them, but in some of them we do. And it's a pain to keep track of. And I'll be honest, like if someone could build these tools better, I would, that's where I would love them to focus, because it is not easy. I think Award Wallet might be the best tool out there, but it is not by any stretch like a tool that the average person is going to use and be like, wow, this is wonderful. Most of the US airlines are not supported. And so the only way to get those US airlines to work is like you have to set up forwarding of monthly statement emails. And so the inventory, like your points balances don't get updated in real time. They get updated as often as the monthly email from Delta is sent to your email and forwarded to them. And so they're not great. And the other half, like a third of the airlines and credit card points, they connect automatically. A third, you have to like go to the website, hit a button. Their browser extension like opens up Chase and logs in while you're there and goes through this process. It's like, it's pretty painful. And so,
They
but
were hit with a lot of lawsuits by a lot of the
yes.
airlines for scraping your data.
Yes. And so that's the other problem is like the reality is all of these airlines are shutting this app down. So if you find something great that you think's a cool alternative and it's under the radar, as soon as it gets big, the airlines will say no, 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 no. So the best solution I've found is I use Award Wallet to collect all the data. I put it all in a spreadsheet that, is not perfect. And my spreadsheet is I export the Excel version of Award Wallet and I copy and paste that spreadsheet into Google Sheets. And then I built a sheet that like references everything on that kind of more messy sheet. And I just kind of on a, let's call it quarterly basis, I know which programs don't expire. And so on a quarterly basis, I just like manually check on the programs that I know do expire. At least the ones where I have a real balance. Like I'm looking at this and there's like I have 300 miles at ANA. I don't even care. Like if my 300 miles on ANA expire, okay, it doesn't matter. But like
Right.
my wife has, a couple 100,000 points on American, like those will expire. So like I am making sure that they don't. And like, I know the dates and I color code that spreadsheet to keep track of it. But it is a huge pain. There is not a good solution. I've constantly found new apps that are like, oh, we're going to track all your balances. And I get so excited and I start linking my accounts only to realize by like the 8th one that they also don't support all of them. So
They're most
I
likely
wish I could
just
tell you there's a
using-
good solution.
Yeah, Award Wallet has an API that they open up for other apps, so it's probably everybody's using the same API, most likely.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I hope that the airlines become more willing to share their data, but for right now they don't. And I didn't say this earlier, so I'll just say it because it's really important. One of the tactics that I think everyone should do is go open up, like let's say you have Amex points and there's like 7 or 8 airlines that you might ever use. Go open up a frequent flyer mile account on those 8 airlines even before you need it, and set it up and link it to Amex, because when you find the availability, you might be looking at it like, oh, Air France finally has 4 seats exactly where I want. Let's go book it. What you don't want is to be like, well, now I've got to go create my Flying Blue account and then I've got to link it to Amex. And then sometimes Amex goes, wow, you just linked this account and now you want to transfer 400,000 points? Well, that
Right.
seems sketchy. Maybe we should send that to like our fraud team to make sure it doesn't come out. And you call Amex and 4 hours later, you finally get it approved and the availability is gone. So I encourage everyone, to go link all of their accounts, create the frequent flyer mile accounts so you have them all ready to go, so that when you find that availability, you're ready to act. But that you don't need to move any points there. They might be a bunch of zero balance accounts, but just go set them up.